everybody, this is Artisan Loom here with another tutorial. I'm going to show you how to do Nix Haley 22's button lock that she has here. It's a really unique way of getting away with it without having to use C-clips. So it's just another different lock concept that she has, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I think this may be one of my favorite ones, more so than the shoestring and the other one. I really am liking this button one. She sent me a bracelet that has it as well. Let me run and go get that real quick so I can show you. Sorry about that. I totally forgot that she had sent this to me. But here's her unique lock. This is one side where it's going to attach. And this is the button that she had put on. Okay, it's all attached very nicely. And she uses really sturdy, I'm not going to do it exactly like this, but this is just one variation of it, to where when you put it on, you just put it over the button, and there you go. And then you can have this part as long as you need. But I don't know how to do this exact version of it with how she wrapped it and all that. She uses a nylon threading. See in there? That's attached to the button. She uses a nylon threading for this one. Although in this particular tutorial, I'm going to be using this Corellia bracelet, which is, I just absolutely love this one, and the colors are gorgeous. This is a design by Adele Griffith, and the tutorial is by Loves to Loom. And I'm going to attempt to show you how to do the button lock. I've got a nice little button here. I figured this would look real pretty with it. Need a button that is going to have a big enough, well, a big enough hole that you can get a cording through. So what you're going to need is some cord. Nix Haley had sent me these two types of cord, and I'll show you. Hold on. This is a black cording is what she sent me. Kind of looks like shoelace, but thinner. You can find it at your craft stores. Of course, I live out in the middle of nowhere where I'm nowhere near a craft store, so I obviously can't find it here. Here's another one that's even thinner. So if your button is a little thinner, you can be able to get this through. And I'm going to be using the black one. Let me put this back. And you're going to need a button with a big hole. Size of the button itself really just depends on the design. I think that's a good enough size. And this button was given to me by AZMS Mom, who is Deborah, my good friend, my sis. And she sent me this button when she sent me that package. So I have that. And you also need some scissors to be able to cut your cording. And what else? What else? Basically, well, actually, you do need one other thing. You will need a bead. Let me find the one that I want to use. I'll just use this one. It's a crown one. Nix Haley 22 sent me these two. But basically, you just need a bead that has a large hole to be able to put the cord through. I'll just use that. Although I'm sure if I looked harder, I can find a nicer one, which I love the crown, don't get me wrong, but I'll find one that matches a little nicer with the bead. But I'm just going to show you this real quick. So go ahead and get your supplies together, and we'll get started. So I have my cording. I'm just going to cut off a piece of it. Don't know how big of a length I need it, but just enough to be able to fit it through the button and tie it off in the back. So I'm just going to use my scissors, cut me a piece off, and then I'll cut my other piece for the other side later. And then what you're going to need to do is take your cord and pull it through the button. I can't double this up because the buttonhole is not big enough to double up, but I can at least get one of them in there. Okay, and you pull it through. Okay, and then you take, let me see, how am I going to do this? Should be the clip. Okay, so on this side of the bracelet, I guess it doesn't really matter, but on this side of the bracelet, I'm going to put the button. So what I'm going to do is figure out the spot that you want the button to be, and I'm going to say right at the end, right there at the end. That's where I'm going to have it. So once you figure that out, okay, so you're going to go in through, let's see, oops. It's going to go right there. So you're going to go in through the back of the bracelet, okay? And now what I'm going to do is come up through the center here. Will that be enough? Yeah, I'm going to come in through the center here. Okay. And I'm going to pull one of these cords through to the other side. Pull it out just like this. See how I got one side through and one side? Okay. And then I'm going to come up through the bottom again. This time I'm going to span it over a stitch and get closer to the edge. But come in up through these LEs. See how close it is? I'm going to grab the other side of the cord and bring it on through the back. Pull the cord all the way through to where you have both sides. I'm going to slide them to make them the same length if possible. You have both sides through just like that. Okay, so that's what that side's going to look like. At this point we need to tie these off, so I'm going to tie it in a knot and pull really tight. Okay, and then I'm going to tie the knot again, so double knot it, pull really tight, and then the button's on. See, it's nice and secure, it isn't going anywhere. Okay, so at that point, once I make sure it's nice and tight, I'm going to snip the edge off very carefully, not to gather and get any of the rubber bands. I'm going to take it and I'm going to snip it. Okay, do the same on with this one. Kind of hard to hold and do this at the same time. I'm going to snip the other side of that off, so it'll look like that, okay, where I had tied it off. Okay, then what we're going to do is we need to work on this side. Okay, you're going to need to get yourself a cord that's big enough. Now this is the second time I'm having to do this part over because my camera shut off in the middle of it, so I've already snipped it. But basically you want to come up with, pretend these are together, you want to come up with a long cord, okay? Just like that. Just however long that you want it. I'd rather go longer than shorter, okay? And then what I ended up doing was, I didn't snip it till after I brought it through, but since I've already snipped it, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna kind of snip this off to make it the same length. Okay. So you're gonna go in from the front of your bracelet, okay, and I'm gonna go in from here and there. The goal is to make a loop like that. Okay, so I'm going to go in through the front of the bracelet instead, push my hook down through, gather one of these cords, actually both the cords. You can do it singly if you don't want to do two. You can do it just with one. I'm going to try to do it with two because it's harder to do. If you decide to do one, you'll find it super easy. You would only pull one up through. Okay, but for those of you that want to make it even more secure, go ahead and do the two if possible. If you don't have a charm that's got a big enough hole and only one will go through it where it's snug, then you just do the one. Okay, so I brought both of them through. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to go in through the front here. I'll just put this to the side, hide that because we're done on that side. I'm going to come in through the front of the bracelet here, down through the front of the bracelet to the back, and I'm going to grab these two. And I'm going to put both cords and pull them through. If you have to do it singly, that's fine, but I can get mine on my hook. Then I'm just going to pull it through, just like so. Okay, so now you have all four hanging out here. Having a party. Woohoo! This is what these are, I'm not even going to say. I was going to say they remind me of my nerve endings on the bottom of my feet with my neuropathy that are saying, woohoo, let's party all night long and make my feet burn. Anyhow, not that you care to hear that. Okay, so I've got these four. So basically what we're going to do, you need to find a charm that's got a big enough hole that will fit all four. Or if you can't get all four in and you can only get two because it's a smaller hole, then use this. But this is what you're not wanting it to be. You're not wanting it to be so loose that it slides around, okay? You're wanting it to be snug, but not too snug that it can't move, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put these two through. I'm going to use this charm, or this bead. I can put these through very simply, okay? So I'm just going to let those hang out there. Now I need to get these two to go through there as well. So I'm going to take my threading device, which I'm using a piece of fishing line, or you can use the bead. You know, when you buy beads at the store, the strung beads, and they come on that little plastic string. I save those and then use those as threaders. Okay, so I'm going to put both of those on. You just got to be careful they don't slide off. I'm going to put both of these cords in between my threading tool, see, as you can see. And I'm going to take this and pull it through. You can see that. So I pulled it through. I'm going to grab the other side and hold it. So in other words, I've got my threading tool. Okay. I guess the easiest way, I'm hoping I'm not confusing you. Take one side of your threading tool and put it through the bead that you need, okay? And here's the other side. I'm going to go around to get both of these on it, and I'm going to put my threading tool, the other end of my threader, through the bead, okay? And then I'm going to hold both of them with my left finger. That means both of these cords are now attached to that clear strand. See that? What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it, take it, and then pull it through. I'm going to try to use my teeth, which is the wrong way to do it. Oh, it is the wrong way because I just broke my threader. Well, that was not a good way to teach you how to do it, is it? Okay. I just now made my threader just even smaller. Okay, I'm going to put both of these around those cords. Okay. both of these are right here. I'm going to put them through the bead, just like that. Can you see that? And then I'm going to grab the end, and we're going to try to attempt to pull these through there, okay? Now it's going to be hard to do, I think. Maybe if I push these down, it'll give a little bit more room. But I'm going to take, hold on. Ah! Getting ready to break it again. Okay, see, unfortunately I used my teeth to try to pull it through. And it's working. Because my fingers aren't strong enough to be able to use it to pull it through. It's not strong enough because it is a little snug. So I can take my threader off, and I can pull both these through. Okay, so now I have all 4 of them on my bead. See that? All 4 of them. Hello. Okay, so that was the goal, to be able to get them through to where this part is on the other side, coming up through to the top of the bracelet and hanging over like this. Okay? So you needed to have this long enough because you're going to have to tie these. I'm going to take 2 and tie a knot with these 2 and tie a knot with these 2. Because once I do that, then there definitely will not be enough room for that bead to slip through both them knots. So that's what I'm going to do. But see how it doesn't slide off? Because it's snug. It's not super snug. You can still move it around, but it's not so loose that it will slide through. So at this point, and I'm going to try to do this to where when I tie a knot, that it'll be as close to the end as possible, because I don't think I made these quite long enough to be able to if you start off with a really long piece of cord, then you've got more to work with because you can always snip it off. But if you make it too short, then you're kind of limited. So I'm going to take these 2 and tie a knot and just try to get it as close to the end as possible so that you have more room for the... Okay, see, I've got them through. Now I'm just going to try to pull. And get it nice and tight. Whoops! Wow, I'm really doing a number, aren't I? I'm going to pull it nice and tight, okay? Let me make sure that's how she's got hers. That's what it looks like to me. Okay, I'm going to do the same with this one. Is I'm going to tie it, oops, tie these 2 in a knot. These 2. And tie another one. Well, I didn't really make this long enough. Oh my goodness, I thought I had plenty to work with. Okay, so I've made it go through, oops, sorry, to make the knot. But I'm going to take see that? I'm going to pull on, well, let's try this again. Tie it in a knot. I'm only going to tie it in a knot once. I'm going to have it as close to the edge as possible. and pull on these sides to make it as close to the edge, and then make it tighter this way. Third time's a charm, maybe. And tie it in a knot. Third time is a charm. Third time is always a charm. I just wish I had it a little closer to the edge, because now I've left myself with a very short span. You need this to be a little bit longer. That's what you're going to need. What I'm going to do is, since I've got, let me just slide the bead down. Show you what I've got. Since I have these two tied in a knot, get it as tight as possible. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and snip the edge off of both. Okay? And then I'm going to do the same with this one. Okay, now I can't, I'm going to make it to where it's even on both sides as far as both knots. Okay, there we go. And then since it's still not even, I'm going to pull on this side to bring it to where it's like that. Okay, so this still is snug, but it's not so loose. Okay, and it's not going to be able to go through both of these knots. Okay, so at this point, all my junk, that's what you're trying to go for. Okay, just like that, so that when you go to put it on, and like I told you, go longer with the cord, because I made this a little short, or get closer to the edge. I could have put this like right in here, but I chose to put it right there. Probably should have came up, and then that would make this a little span out a little longer. But just go ahead and make your cord, cut a really long piece off, because more is what's needed, and then you can always snip it off like I did. But I kind of made this a little short. But to close it off, you just hook it on the button, just like that. And if this was longer, you'd be able to pull it looser and then tighter. To pull it tighter, you would just slide these up, and that'll keep it in place. But I made my cords incredibly too short, so mine's probably going to be a little small. Not bad for my first try on the lock thing. But I think, you know, what I need to do next time is have it come up. Let me unlock it. Next time I'm going to have it come up maybe right in here to here. That way I've got at least this much more to work with length, and make my cord a lot longer to where I have enough room to be able to tie my knots, and to have room for it to go tighter or looser. So that's where I messed up, but you get the concept. This is kind of what we're going for, and I'm not sure if this one's going to fit me or not, because it's not much bigger than where I had the C-clip, because I chose to do it too far back. But basically you put it on. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Put that little cord around the button. Make sure it goes all the way around. And it's a little tight on me because of how far down I went. But that's the lock. It's perfect, actually. I need it just a little bit longer in length. I'm going to twist it this way because I can't contort my arm that direction. But that's what we're looking to go for. Okay? So it is pretty, but next time when you do it, make your cord a lot longer so you have more room to work with. Okay, but it stays on, it's nice and tight, it's not going anywhere because it's through all them bands, it's not going anywhere. Okay, there you are. I just love this design so much. She did such a great job, Adele Griffiths. But that's how you do it. So, and if you was to loosen it, if I had this a lot longer, I would just pull on this small bead that way towards the knots, and that would loosen it. But since I made it a little too small, it's not going to be able to loosen that way. So I'm just going to pull it over and take it off. Okay, but you get the concept. That is, at least I hope you get the concept. That is the button lock closure by Nyx Haley 22 on Instagram. So if you want to give her a follow, it'd be wonderful. And you can follow my channel and subscribe. And I'm also on Facebook at Artisan Loom Bead Queen. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry for not making the cord long enough, but I'm giving you fair warning to make it long, and I'll put that in the description box as well. Just make it longer to wear, and maybe put this part a little closer to the edge. I just wanted it to be through a ton of bands. See? It's not going anywhere. It's perfect. Just needs to be a little bit further up, and the cord needs to be about that much longer. About another 1.5 inches, and then it would be perfect for me. Okay, but if this was a bigger design, and I had it this small, then it would fit perfect. But that's it. Wonderful. Yay, finally did it. Yoo-hoo. Until next time, take care now. Bye.